about today, so just think of it as being a good movie. You wouldn't want to go see a movie and have the people around you talk to you all the time. And with that, I'm going to jump right in. That is considered one of the top 10 most beautiful skylines in the world. I'm biased. I think it's so cute. But it is inarguably one of the top 10. And that was made possible by a tragedy. On October 8, 1971, the city of Chicago caught on fire. At the time of the fire, the population was 300,000. During the 2 days of the fire, 1/3 of the city burned to the ground. With that means 17,000 homes and businesses were destroyed, leaving 100,000 people homeless, and 250 people died. It was a tragedy by any stretch of the imagination. It was also an opportunity, because it gave us a second to build a second city. And that's why we're called the second city. Not because of second humor, they would have you believe, because we literally built the second city on the absent degree of the first city. A little bit more history to go across that bridge. That's the approximate location of Q1. In 1803, the federal government was formed. In 1812, it was destroyed in a fire during the War of 1812. Across the river at street level, we have the one we're getting the Maxim Building. This is in 1823. Architect is Alfred Alshin. And it's in a style that we call Beaux Arts, which is defined by having the decorative sculpted floors back in the top. It is now the home to the London House in Town, which is where the got its name from jazz companies in Vietnam. The London House, exactly. There are no trick questions on this street. We got on the boat at the base of the Wrigley Building, also had the Art style, beginning in 1821. The architects are Grant, Anderson, Probst, and White. Next, in addition to the decorative lace stab at floors decorative top, it's got 6 different shades of glazed white floor at the bottom, starting with the darkest at the bottom, working to an up to the lightest. Which some people say will inspire us the mechanics that lift the bridge. And they're all a little different because they're designed to complement the architecture of the thin area when they were built. Now they're on the main branch of the Chicago River, the north branch, south branch, up and turning basically to and back to the dock. Also, if you're looking at the right-hand side of the boat in the direction of travel. All of you know then that's not the case. From the National Hotel Tower is the second tallest building in the city of Chicago and the 6th tallest in the United States of America. It is 1,360 feet tall, with the spire. Now the architects are Skidmore, Owens, and Mel. The lead architect is Adrian Smith. He has the lead architect to the tallest building in the world. Does anybody know what that is? The Burj Khalifa in Dubai. When such about how the tallest building in the world is up to the top, and you've got with it. Heavily top is Black Steel Skyscraper, the American Medical Association building, completed in 1971. It's architecturally significant because it's the niece of Vander's final building. He died in 1969, as I mentioned, was completed in 1971. He's an internationally acclaimed architect who moved here in the 1930s from Germany to teach architecture at the Illinois Institute of Technology. And he brought with him what's known as the International Style of Architecture, which is defined by rejecting all non-essential organization. Mies's philosophy was, less is more. Because he moved here to teach architecture, you're going to see a very strong Miesian influence throughout Chicago. A lot of international style buildings. Ironically, Bertrand Goldberg, architect of the Marina City Towers, we call them the corncob buildings, Goldberg was a student of Vanderbilt. He clearly rejected the international style. His philosophy was there are no right angles in nature, so there shouldn't be any right angles in architecture. A lot of people are very curious as to how these buildings are constructed. Think of a flower. The elevator is a stem, and each condo is a pie-shaped petal. And they really are pie-shaped. The narrowest part is where you enter the unit, the widest part is the belfry. One piece of pie is a studio, 1.5 pieces of pie is a bedroom, and 2 pieces of pie is a 2-bedroom. Pie-shaped condos make for very interesting interior design choices. It was completed in 1967, and people were moving back then from the city to the suburbs. So they had an idea for a city within a city. So when the City Towers first opened, it had a movie theater, a bowling alley, a grocery store, a dry cleaner, a marina, a couple of restaurants, a skating rink. dark, I can go with my We go darker. Okay, we got the red brick masonry construction building. The Green Murdoch Center. The architect is George Nibbins. Nibbins is known for his industrial work. It's a converted warehouse. If you were taking this tour in the early 1900s, there's a chance you'd be blind. That's all you'd be looking at is industrial buildings. This is one of the few remaining untouched buildings. Now if you look up, there's a clock tower. Lots of clock towers in Chicago. Anybody want to know why? Believe it or not, we live in the 1900s, not everyone could afford it. And how else do you know what it is? I can't afford one now, they're $1,600. Now we've got this Ludwig Mies building with silver steel, even the north facade. Even in 2009, the architects are hard at it shipping, and it is LEED certified plaque. Now LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. Platinum is the highest designation you can get. Lots of different features that make this building worthy of platinum designation. It's got a rooftop garden for the rainfall, and it uses river water for its cooling system. So it takes the river water in, uses it to cool down the air conditioner, then it spits it out. It's one of about a dozen buildings on the river that use river water for its cooling system. And Chicago has the most LEED certified buildings of any city in the United States of America. Then we have the Merchandise Mart of Chicago, in 1931. The architects are Graham Anderson, close to White. And it's Art Deco. Art Deco is defined by having a limestone facade, strong vertical lines that draw your eye up, setbacks, and geometric ornamentation. It is also the second largest building in the United States of America, with number one being the Pentagon. It's got 8 miles of hallway. Now, it was originally built by Marshall Field to consolidate its warehouses. In 1945, he had to sell it to the back casts. Joseph B. Kennedy purchased it for $15 million. In 1998, he sold it for $575 million. So they call a really big return on the investment. A lot of doubt for that. They did not sell the piece of property next to the Merchandise Mart. It was a parking lot, and they didn't think it was ever going to go to that. Well, same with the Correlate on the deal in 98. The facilities manager and they just finished development called Rooftop. Now this is an important area in Chicago's history. One of our first homesteadings here. Early 1860s. They had a general store, a church, a post office, and 3 taverns, which is about on point with Chicago's tavern population. There's one of those taverns where Chicago got its name. Trying to figure out what to call this area. And so they called their version of Native American call. Native American call this area Chicago, which means stinking onion. Which is what was growing along the banks of the river. Well, how did I do this? This is the part of the community where I bounced with them. And I'll let you know who's talking about the first floor building we're going to be on starting this is going to be Arch, River Pole. We'll be in 2017. The architects are hard renovation. Now, as of 2020, it is LEED certified plaque. And I had John Picard lead ask. So I asked if they could keep the plaque up. And his response was, that is both too technical and too boring for either of us to do. So, then we've got the white buildings called the Residences at River Platte. In the early 2000s, the architects are Stefano and Partners. And it's in a style called Naturalism. That's what the building's footprint pays homage to the Chicago. So we've got a bend at the river, a bend in the building. And they built this. They put all the hallways, all the amenities in the bus. So each building is everyone that they're going to enjoy a really great view of. That wasn't there. They had a great view of the main branch of Chicago River. In fact, they were thinking of, but yes, this is the oldest building on the Chicago River. So there's a cold storage facility. I want you to imagine bring bucks. The walls were stuffed with cork and horsehair to keep the meat from being in stockyards cold. In the 1980s, they renovated it. The architect who oversaw the renovation is Harry Mies. And see those starfish that work their way up to the porthole windows? Mies is known for incorporating nautical touches in his work. In 2019, the penthouse is on the market for $7.9 million. Then we've got the Chicago River Cottages, also designed by Harry Mies. because in addition to nautical touches, he is known for triangles, and this is only demand those two motifs. It's said to be a background sailboats. Sport townhomes, until a few years ago, had all four of them. One of them sold, at what if we like to say, with a set photo shoot.